And each time I forget to put off Delsane. Could make me crazy. Yeah, I'm fiddling around. Having the sidechain working, in particular on this sound, it's a ARP sounds. If I go here to the audio follower, I can bypass this modulation I'm doing. So it's a very tape flanger, very going on. So I'm just playing around, just see if I'm run into something. And you see here the kick drum comes in the audio follower. It's done in Cubase. You need to arrange this up here for the audio sidechain. And the first thing I did is having it on the bypass. High pass filter. And also filter 2. But it's starting getting interesting. Once I use the FX2 lengths, when I change the length, the time length of this flanger. And of course now it's using the aperture rate. I also could shut down the aperture rate to just simply play the note. Yeah, so that's interesting to use the sidechain to control the FX. So that's interesting, isn't it? Okay, we are back again. Hopefully everybody is okay and enjoying Predator-3, as many do. And we are very busy continuously, of course, with Predator-3. Currently what I'm doing is, together with Richard, revising the preset bank. Some presets, go to the manager, some presets had some little issues, sometimes the volume, sometimes the tuning. And then we are fixing this, and of course there are many presets on board. We are checking the tagging because that needs to be also in order before we can create the NKS version. So that's work in progress, and so the NKS is planned for in December. It's still a lot of work, and that's mainly because of the presets. But of course, yeah, it moves forward, so that's good news. Let's see if we have some people here in the chat room. Yeah, everybody, hello. I hope you all are fine. Yeah, I think there's a question of Robin inside the chat room. It's a good question. He asked if he could early version of Predator, which works on Windows XP. Since we have also still the 32-bit installer, or maybe XP could be also on 64-bit, but most likely even Predator-3 will install on XP. Or so what you could do is download the demo version from PC, from Predator-3, and then you check, you can install, I think, 64-bit VST3, but then also select 32-bit and check if it works. If it works, then Predator-2 and Predator-1 also will work. So give that a try. So yeah, today I thought, yeah, let's do some building presets from scratch. And I had no time to install the, because I have the Access Virus B. And maybe some people have the Access Virus, and some long time ago, I created a preset was called IQ Pad, which has a pad sound, which on top of it is a little trickling thing. And so maybe it's a good idea. And of course, the creation of that would be with the filter 2. And the filter 2 being in the as a parallel, and this would mean that it would be in Split Mode 3. That's also the title of this live stream. So I would go here to my own bank, which makes it a bit easier so that I don't mess up the other ones. We have here then the default preset. So by creating a layer inside of Predator-3, we use the Split-3. And Split-3, you can see oscillator 1 and 2 go into filter 1, and oscillator 3 goes into filter 2. Okay, so I will create first with oscillator 1 and 2 a pad sound. So I could do it with a saw, essentially even using 2 saws. Of course, I could use the split spread, but I use this now. So, of course, this doesn't sound like a pad. Of course, I make it 1 octave higher. So then it starts ready as sounding as a little pad. So I could make it a little more swirly, and that I can do even before I use a chorus. I could use a free row, free LFO, sorry, not a free row, but free LFO. I put it in poly mode, which means that each note has its own modulation, and then I picked oscillator 2, define. Still 2 oscillators. I still could use spread here, but for now I keep it like this. And then the third oscillator I'm going to use as a source for making this high twiggling thing going on. So let's see if I have then for this a modulation. I take free oscillator 2, and I could drag the semi here, if I'm not wrong, to destination. You see, drag and drop. So semi I drag to destination, and then I have this one. You know, a kind of bird inside my computer now. It's a continuously bird sound. But of course, that's not the waveform we need. We will use the sample and hold. You see it's random. And of course, the trick is to make this very high. And what I could do, instead of having keyboard tracking, I would put off the keyboard tracking. So it doesn't change from tuning anymore. So if I bypass this, you see the keyboard tracking of oscillator 3 is off. So if you think, what is this key TRK mean? This means the tracking of the keyboard. Now it stops. And if you would have a modeler, you would patch the keyboard. You would connect it from the keyboard. You would put out the input into the oscillator out of it, which came from the keyboard. So now it doesn't matter what I play. It plays one tone. And then I use this modulation. And I make this, then of course, see how, and maybe the speed should a bit higher. Then I show you a trick in which you can increase the speed. If you go to the modulation matrix and you say source offset, and you say filter free LFO 2, free LFO2 speed, and you increase it. Okay. Here then. So now I have this twinkling thing in the very upper range. I even could make it higher in pitch. Then I could use again the... so I'm modular patching. Essentially what I'm doing here with Predator-3 is modular patching. You see a lot of modular error rack stuff, and even you have virtual modules inside as virtual instruments. But modular things you also can do in a synthesizer like Predator-3. Simply patching, connecting one thing with another. You don't see a patch cable, but you connect things from one point to another point. So now I pick again the offset, and I control the oscillator 3 pitch. I increase it a little bit. Now I have this very high tone, and then let's see how it mixes with the so yeah, this little tweakling. Of course, that sound is not finished. I have to make it a bit nice. So what I could do is use a bandpass filter type 2. Bandpass filter type 2. And I open the key track because then the cutoff frequency is moving along with where you play. So I shut down the animation. Let me see. Dial animation is on. Okay, then it should work. So now gets a little bit. Now the bandpass filter means that below the cutoff frequency it does filter the low frequencies, and above this cutoff frequency it filters the higher frequencies. So you get really a kind of band in which the sound plays. If I would not have keyboard tracking, it gets very muddy in the upper range. So it needs to follow the keyboard to sound everywhere very nice. And then you look for the sweet spot. Okay, here's the sweet spot. And then we see, of course, now, and we could filter oscillator 3 a little bit, maybe for the low end, which is essentially, I don't think that it has low end. But to be safe, we could cut off a little bit of the, make it even more thinner. High pass filter. Okay, now it's still, of course, very dry. And now you need to finish it off. You see here in the envelope setting of the amplifier, with a pad sound, sustain is, I always have fully open. Decay doesn't do anything because decay goes down to the sustain level. And if the sustain level is fully open, it has nothing to go to. So now I could make it a bit more wet. We could see, let's see, maybe a little bit of chorus. And of course, what would be nice is delay. But before I do this, with pad sounds, that's another thing I would like to tell you. If you go to the play mode, you see here the advanced mode, and you got the decay release shape. This normally you don't touch this. You leave it as it is, and normally this is for, let's say, 99% of the presets, this is good. But for pad sounds, the linear down is nicer. So if I go here, I set this to 0%. Okay. Okay, 0. Now I have 0. You see the pop-up decay release shape 0%. And then the decay is a bit nicer for pad sounds. And now, to finish off the sound, I would take a very nice stereo delay. I'll make the stereo delay this way that it's pretty long. I have 1/4 note for the left, and right it's 1/8 note dotted. I will make that one 1/4 dotted. type of sound. Of course, now I could save this one already. Save preset as pad du EQ. Okay. Pad. No, let's call it IQ pad. Sorry for being. And of course, I make these for you available. So IQ do pad 01, odd name, but should have a name. Now I need to find the right balance between this pad sound. And I can make even maybe. No, that's bad. Now it's already better, so I save it again. So I go much higher with the pitch again. Oscillator 3 is going much higher. It's a sinus waveform. I increase the pitch. It's very high pitched. And then what I also could do is use, because we have the panning parameter here in Oscillator 3, I could go to here, another LFO. And then I grab the pan and throw it inside here. And then we use maybe poly. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Just listening. So now it pans a little bit, but maybe the 3 is better. So it goes a little bit left-right. So this is this pad sound by using the filter 2 split mode, essentially because I use then oscillator 1 and 2 goes into filter 1. I use their bandpass filter, and the oscillator 3 I can direct to filter 2. So there not really has a very filter type which is very active, but it gets away a little bit of low end if it's there. I don't think that's much low end, but I use it more for having a different output for the oscillator 3. Okay, so then I need to see because I always need to have something on the XY. In the XY, I could say, well, maybe change the semi of the oscillator and drag and drop. So I use the XY. You can change these. I can also use it on this one. So that's the XY. And then I would say something on the modulation wheel, for instance, the filter. Makes it a little softer. So now it slowly gets its shape, and I need a little bit of feedback on the delay. And fades out nicer. And you see the high pass filter, so the delay cuts off a little bit of the high end and also the low end. So otherwise you get a little bit of rumbling. So the delay is essentially very muddy, a bit like muddy and less hi-fi, but that makes it nicer inside the sound. Yeah, and then the last thing, of course, I do, normally I check the volume. Let's see if I can see how the volume is. I think it's okay. And then, of course, we have I save the preset. And of course, I have in the manager, you have the set category. Then I make it a pad sound. It's pretty bright. It has some nice effects. The modulation whale changes things. It sounds very analog to my feel. XY live means that something, if you change the XY, something happens. That's a very long attack, long release. It's of course in poly mode and it's pretty spacey. So apply and save, and then this sound is tagged. So this will appear in the new version. So yeah, let's see what the chat room says and if everybody understands my tweaking, because today I'm tweaking. I start from scratch and then I create a sound. Okay, where is my browser? Here we are. Okay, so let's see if I maybe missed something from the chat rooms. Sorry, sometimes if I miss a question. Okay. It's a good advice of a good sound card. Yeah, I mean, there are pretty options. I myself, because of the latency and the very good support of having all the drivers, I'm using the RME sound card, and I get very soon a new computer, and that one will have again a RME audio card. They are pretty on the price, but they are very good, very solid. And I'm used to it in terms of the mixer. So if I would buy another one, I have to learn again the mixer. Don't have time for that. Okay, so modulate also 3 volume by the XY or random node. That could also be an option. Yeah, a cradle pad. Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, that's the right word for it. What are the latch options in the XY setting for? The latch options in the XY. Latch. I'm not sure what you mean by latch in the XY. Maybe you mean something else? Space crickets, yeah. Nice sound became. Yeah, nice. Maybe not always musical useful, but it's a nice sound. Maybe your cat gets a little bit irritated by this very high frequency, or your dog. So in case your dog starts barking with this preset of today, I'm very sorry. That happens if you tweak sounds. Yeah, that's a good question. Studio DreamWorks also has a very good question. But going back to prevenues, what are the latch options in the XY setting for? Let me know what you mean, because or you can latch the XY in the matrix. Oh, yeah, you can use the modulation wheel to do this. XY command. Hey, what? Where's the menu? Oh no, this is for this part. Commands. Unlet. Ah, yeah. No, it's in the wrong section. Yeah, that's a good point. Latch XY. It's for MIDI latching. We should have a title there. Above here should be. That's a good point. We can should MIDI latch it is. So latching MIDI. So yeah, now I understand what you mean. In this command, you can say latch the X. Okay, that's, you see this dial on my keyboard? Now it's latched. It's MIDI latching. Good point, good point. Something we need to unlatch XY now. It's MIDI latching. Yeah, good point. I write it down because that's something we can improve. I'm not sure, because you find it on many parameters here. Those latch to MIDI. Ah, you see, we missed the word MIDI there. Yeah, good point. So I thought, yeah, what is it? Yeah, we found that one. Yeah, the reason for the different color types, that came over from the original Predator. So if we go here, 1 second. Let's see, add track instrument. So I pick here Predator ES. The 4-element synth. This is a Predator you can download, which has the presets. The manager doesn't work, but has the presets from all the books, which you also find in Predator-3 from the DVD books and video. And here we started already using this. You see, the black dials are essentially real parts of Oscillator 3. The gray ones are amount controls, and red is a modulator. So the speed of the modulator, in this case, the LFO. So if you go to the filter, you see it's black. So from the filter, this learns a user essentially that the filter, real filter parts are the cutoff frequency, the resonance, and the rest, what you see here, the gray ones, are amount controls. So they are not really, they are used in the filter, but they are essentially amount controls. How much the envelope, which is a modulator, which is red. So if you see red, it's a modulator. If it's gray, it's an amount control. And if it's black, it's really a part of it. Really a part of filter 1. So the filter type is, of course, a part of the filter. And here you see the same, the filter LFO speed is red, but amount control is, again, an amount control. So this line up, what we did already with Predator 1, we continued this in Predator 3, where you see the oscillators, everything which is black has to do really with the oscillators. If you go to advanced, you can see that the S mode is more silver white. So this is amount control, and speed is red because speed is the LFO, which modulates this symmetry. And you see symmetry is again black. So this is the idea behind the colorization of Predator 3. So you see here the filter types, black is cutoff, Q, and pre-filter distortions really are components of the filter itself, like the filter mode, but envelope amount, velocity, keyboard tracking, these are amount controls. And of course, this goes down in here. There we don't have this because this is a LCD type of thing. So here you don't have the amount is, of course, here simply as an LCD type. But that shows essentially already how a synthesizer a little bit works. So that was the idea behind it. Okay, I hope this answer helps a little bit. I see some people joining in the chat room. And yeah, about my new computer, I hope to have it next week, but it will take some time to install a new computer. That's still a big pain. You need to install all the software, all the things. So that will be a big task. My current computer is what I stream here with is an i7, which is already from 2012, so 9 years old. But what I did is increase the SSD, made it 1 terabyte for the main, and I used a different graphic card at the later stage. But it's already 9 years, but still very powerful. But of course, it's now also time to have another one. And the other one will be 19-inch because I will use it also on stage as a computer. So I have a ABS case, and it will be 19-inch computer inside of it, an i9, and most likely it will be a fast machine. A very fast computer, especially if I would put that computer inside a Ferrari, then you would have a very fast computer. But I don't have a Ferrari. But I have nice instruments, of course, so nothing to complain about. So let's see here if there's any questions. Okay, we were with the split sound. Split-3 is used in this preset, the IQ Dupat 1. Oh, now I have something else. Wrong. Another idea what I could do is, for instance, make a lyre with a choir type of sounds. Would that be a nice idea? So let's see how fast I can go and mass this and make this one back to normal. So I go here, modulation matrix, double click, remove it. Of course, I could also use commands here and then say clear all slots. That's faster. Therefore, we have the command button. About yeah, we had a good remark last week. Somebody said, well, these are not really Easter eggs, but yeah, of course, there were features I was showing. But Easter eggs are, for instance, if you could say here, go to filter 1, you go over the label and you say copy filter to other. And then I copy filter 1 to filter 2. Have the same setting. Ah, cool, isn't that? Not that I'm going to use that, but it's possible. Or you could say copy oscillator 2, oscillator 2. Copy oscillator 2. Then you can say 3. So if you have a complex thing going on and then you want to combine things, yeah, you see now it has also oscillator 3 saw. But I want to have a stack sound with a kind of choir thing. So we have two options. We can use a vocal type of sound. Let's see, something like this. Okay, let me see. I'm looking here in the... Oh! No. Of course, I need to shut down also here the modulation. Now I have a vocal sound here. And then but I want to make it a bit more fuller. And of course, I have already the spread here, but I could go in the play mode and use their unison 3 times and spread them. Oh, delay, that should not work, I think, in this one. So this is the choir, and essentially I already can say, let's put on the pads we had. And then I fade in this. So I have the pad sound. And there comes the choir. Now I need to pad a little bit down. Now it's the range. Okay, I'm fiddling around with the volumes. So now I'm checking which of the spectrum waveforms would be best. Okay, I'll maybe put some modulation. No, this one. It's too straight for my feeling. It should be more swirly. So we go here to fine. Oscillator 2, fine. So now I simply need to I'm balancing now the pad sound. 23 minus 23. Okay. Maybe that makes it nice. No, it doesn't make it much different. Yeah, this is more a pad sound with a kind of emulator above it, a kind of old style. Then, of course, you need to find the right balance. So, what always works. Oh, this is a nice mellow. Sweet, isn't it? Or maybe I made it so mellow. So make the pattern a little darker so that the voice, which is more higher, comes a little bit more on top of it. What I also could do is try this, just 1 octave lower, because I know maybe. I think this one is nice. I would call this one Save Preset as... Oh, cancel. No. Almost made a mistake. Save preset as... Now I need to figure out a name. Pats do emu, I call this one. Yeah, it's a bit like a emu pet sound. This one is more dark. No, it's a combination, I think. I think this is okay. I like it. Well, let's see if you like it. Space Monkey Pad. Yeah, and what we also can do, so this is one sound. I don't have anything with the pitch band modulation wheel. It's active, but I shut that down because what I could do is now use the morph and use here 2. Now we get interesting. So Vox 2, and I use the modulation wheel. I grab it down here, modulation wheel, and address the modulation wheel to the morph. So now when I open the modulation wheel, you get a different vocal sound. Maybe it should be a bit more different. No. You also see changes here. So the modulation wheel also changes the sound. Just by the modulation wheel, it morphs from the Vox 4 to Vox 3, which you see in the... And you, of course, maybe the release is a little bit too long. Make it a bit shorter. Okay, so yeah, that's one way to have a kind of stacked sound. So we have the choir, and also the 1 and 2 do the pad part. So another way to have an choir sound is using a vowel filter, and that's the other way I could do it. So I first am going to save this, save preset as pads do vowel. Okay, so I saved it already before I messed up the other preset. And by the way, I make them downloadable. And you can download them and drop them in the bank folder, so that you have this this pad with this little thing, this IQ pad, this sound I just created, and now we make another one with using Split-3. I leave the pad as it is, but now I'm going to create a choir sound, not by using the spectrum waveforms, but simply going back here to the saw waveform. And pick here in filter 2, so oscillator 2 goes to filter 2, and pick here the vowel. And there is my R. So this is a little bit how it works, for instance, with the VC3, the Roland string keyboard, which has this choir sound. Now, so this is the choir sound. I also can change the vowel. And then I put on the pads. Now, and then I could use the modulation wheel to control the filter 2, this vowel. So listen. Of course, also the XY I could use. Oh, that one is on the wrong side of the story now with semi-3. That will be, if you would now use the XY, then you get this. We don't want to have that one. We only want to have the filter vowel and maybe the filter frequency of filter 2. Also not too much. That's better. So now I adjust the XY, the targets. When I double click, it always goes to center. So in the double click, it centerizes in the middle and it doesn't change the sound. So once I move it around, it will change the sound. So now you have the sound of a pad together. Maybe one octave higher could be interesting. No, I like this one better. Nice, isn't it? So cool what you can do simply by the Split-3 mode. So filter 1 goes into filter 1, does this pad sound. Oscillator 3 goes into filter 2 and does this more synth choir type of thing. So we already created 3 presets. I need to go back to this preset here because pads to EMU has the XY wrongly. Here we can say, change also the oscillator 3 morph. And the filters we could use, maybe here the filter 1. Let's see what happens here now. Yeah, that's better, isn't it? Of course, I know I need to save it again. Because, yeah, I always want to have it the case that even if the XY is not doing a movement, that if you change the position of the XY, something happens to the sound. So every preset does have something happening. That's always what I do, but also even the older Predator 1 presets have the filter connected default. So, okay, I'm checking here. I have everything okay, yeah. So I have pitch bend, modulation wheel, XY. So save this one again. So we have 3 presets already. So let's go to the chat room. VP330, yes. Yeah, I use already a little bit unison on this one, on the vowel. Unison 3. I think it's a nice balance now. If it's too much, sometimes it's getting maybe too swirly. And what you also could do is, of course, if you think, oh, this choir sound is nice, only use the choir sound. So I mentioned the XY, one of the presets I did check this week. If you go down, you go to the Predator-1 presets, and some of the presets had a volume issue. So sometimes, don't be angry if sometimes a preset can be a little bit loud. But here was one which was very, very interesting. Let me see if I can recall again. No, no. Yeah, dirty. This is a really old style Dutch dance sound. See, also here something happens if you go, but it's not the. Sorry, I need to find it. No. I found that one. So nice. No. 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 Ah. Rob, I put that in the, I think I put it here. In the introduction bank. Yeah, synth. I found this one very dirty. I like the high end of it, the high frequency. It's we would call it's really a bit like it's spattered. And then you see the XY. So you see, Predator-3 can sound also very dirty. So the bank manager, we are checking these presets out, and it's a lot of work. We improve the tagging. Sometimes we see little detuning issues. And if you like the hard style dance things, the Cyber Demon Bank is very interesting, has some very classic dance sounds like this. Dominator style of sounds. And the good thing is that once we have everything checked, and you see many banks, we will have, of course, can convert it to NKS. Okay, so let's go back to the chat room. I hope you enjoyed these 3 presets, which is about the filter in the Split-3 mode, and the presets, I'll make them available after we had this live stream, and you can drop them. I think you should drop them in the Ambient bank. I think they will drop in the Ambient bank once we release an update. So if these 3 presets, which are order by date, pad to emu, pad to vowel, and the EQ do pad. So I make them downloadable in the info section, and then you drop them in applications, Papen, Predator-3, bank folder, and then the Ambient bank. And then you need to switch from banks to make them pop up. And then you have these 3 presets, and they finally will also be in the next update. So if you maybe have an idea, I had somebody with an idea about making psytrance sounds in Blade 2. I need to drop this person an email again, so that we maybe have another Thursday with another subject. And so, and of course, we have, surprisingly, surprise, we have a nice demo again by Tom Aldrich. Tom Aldrich, don't feel pressure to send each time a demo song. It should be fun if you have fun with it and you have time for it. We love to hear it, but it's not always necessary. So we enjoy it, and you even have a special spot on our homepage. And it's a very cool one. Tom Aldrich is in the chat room. Say hello to Tom. Thanks, Tom, for sending in another demo song. We're going to play and enjoy it. Thanks for watching. If you are too late in this live stream, as mentioned, you always can watch it back in the playlist live stream or the playlist Predator-3, which most likely will have tomorrow also a new tutorial about how to use presets and banks in Predator-3, which I'm finalizing this week, and next week hopefully more tutorials. Yeah, Robin, let us know if it worked. Would not surprise me. And stay safe. Enjoy creating music. That's the most important. And we go out with BrealDown Engage by Tom Aldrich.
RP gang, are you ready? Punch beat IT engage. Predator organ. Sub-boom bass. To the floor now. BrealDown Engage. Go to launch. Pred organ now. Everybody groove. Arpeggiate. Engage. Now everybody. BrealDown 2 engage. TA burn 1. Bob your head to the beat now. Have fun creating music.